So the first question was posted by Mohanthi Malabika. Fill the coherent paragraph. You know these type of questions, right? These passage completion questions. In fact, we have this question type very clearly. It was introduced a couple of years back in bank exams. People were not ready for this question type because it's not a regular bank level exam question, right? It's a CAT level, GRE, GMAT level question. So people were not ready because they didn't know how to approach this question type. So this question type is called passage completion. It's available under comprehension section right after theme detection, right? So if you have no idea about this particular question type, I would urge you to go through the videos there. But of course, let's try and crack this one. So here basically, the patterns may differ, right? Sometimes the blank is in the first, initially, right? The topic sentence is a blank, or somewhere in the middle it's a blank, or sometimes in the end. So let's read. So basically, for those of you, if it's new, basically it's a paragraph, right? It's a passage taken from obviously a larger article, and they've gone ahead and taken off one line, which happens to be our closing sentence. There are some options given, 5 options given. So based on what the paragraph is saying, we have to choose what will be the most logical, reasonable conclusion to this passage. Yeah. So Mohanti's particular response is, question is, dear madam, which one should be the answer? I'm confused how to approach this question as all the options look as right answer. Okay, great. So I'm sure that's the question that most of you also have. Now I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to quickly read that passage. Okay, we'll take 30 seconds. Let's read the passage. Let's understand what the passage is about. And then we will look at the options and try and eliminate wrong answer options. Or if you know what the right answer is, let's figure it out. Let's brainstorm together. My question is, what is the main theme? What is the context basically? What's the main message of this passage? Let's have some answers. Don't give me the answer, just answer my question. What is the crux of the passage? Making deals between the dealers and customers about production. Relation between factory, dealer and consumer. Mistrust between dealer and customer. Dealer and consumer. What about the factory then? Let's keep it simple. Deal. The conditions prevailing in the automobile industry. Vareva, Vijay. Relation between dealer and consumer. What about the factory? Maximizing mistrust. Okay, we at least know that there are three subjects involved here, right? Factory, dealer, consumer. 3 subjects involved here. And what are they talking about? They are talking about the system in the whole process of the production process, right? How the relations are connected between the factory to the dealer and from the dealer to the customer. And what are these 3 subjects doing in terms of that whole production process? What are they doing? Right? I have an idea, right? What most of you are giving me is, you're leaving out all the 3 components. Some of you have picked only 2 subjects. Some of you are focusing on, that yes, mistrust is looming large among all 3 of them, not just between 2 components, right? We understand that. So now let's look at our options. We have an idea, right? And if you look at all the options, it all starts with as a result, as a result, as a result. So now let's go back. Let's look at each option. Okay. People are trying to take advantage of their respective situations by what? By withholding information. That's what it says, right? Last but one line, it says, this becomes a system marked by a long-term commitment on either side which maximize feelings of mistrust. In order to maximize their bargaining positions, everyone holds back information. So they're taking advantage of their positions by not giving out information. It says withholding. Everyone holds back information, which means withholds information. Correct. Let's go back. Now, option 1. Most of you came back and said option 1, option 1, option 1. Let's look at option 1. As a result, deal making become rampant without concern for consumer satisfaction. Deal making become rampant. What is rampant? Quickly somebody. I'll put that again. I'll put the context again. What is the meaning of rampant? What do you understand by that? Even if it's a new and unfamiliar word, use context clues and tell me what can the meaning be based on the context. In the context, as a result, deal making become rampant without concern for consumer satisfaction, which means they're saying deal making is widespreading, right? Rampant means something that cannot be controlled. Spreading, yes, right? Widespreading. So deal making become rampant without concern for consumer satisfaction. Now go back to the context and you tell me, is deal making becoming rampant? Is deal making becoming uncontrollable? What are they actually addressing here? First of all, the context is not talking about deal making becoming rampant. It is not talking about deal making becoming widespread. The context is saying, hey, you know what? There is a problem with the relation between the factory and the dealer and the consumer, boss. Right? These guys are withholding information to maximize their positions. That's what the context is saying, right? So how can you say deal making is becoming widespread? Deal making is becoming uncontrollable? It doesn't make sense. Without concern for consumer satisfaction. So what about, if you ask me, all three are equally responsible for what is happening, right? The relation is interconnected. So how can we conclude that option 1 is the answer? Because option 1 is talking about something else. It is not relevant and I can't conclude that that is what the case is. I'm going to put that in parking lot, or in fact I will eliminate it immediately. Option 1. Right? My clue word is rampant and they're talking about deal making in specific. Yeah, it is not becoming rampant. Right? It is, the context is not saying it's widespreading. They are talking about the process in which the deal making is done, which is creating a lot of mistrust. Amit, good, right? Option 2, as a result, inefficiencies creep into supply chain. Again, same answer for the first question. The focus is on the relations between these three subjects and not on the supply chain. The focus is not on the deal making becoming widespread, or the focus is not on the supply chain. The focus is on the relations between these three subjects. So supply chain, and if you look at it, inefficiencies in the process is not mentioned, right? Look at the entire context. Inefficiencies in the process is not mentioned. There, look at this. Everywhere you see relation between the dealer and the customer, right? Feelings of mistrust. They are trying to maximize their own positions. It is only addressing, it is the focus is on, boss, subject 1, factory, subject 2, dealer, subject 3, consumer or customer, right? So, option 1 and 2, where the focus is on the deal making process becoming widespread or inefficiencies. Now, no inefficiencies is mentioned about supply chain at all. Out, 1 and 2. 3, as a result, everyone treats other as an adversary rather than an ally. That we don't know. Creep into means what? I mean, if you call somebody a creep, that's a different meaning as a noun. But here it is a phrasal verb. Creep into. Something that creeps into something. You tell me. Look at the context. As a result, inefficiencies creep into supply chain means what can it be? I'm putting the context again. What can it be? Creep into in this context means what? It enters. Inserts into nahi. It enters, right? Inefficiencies are entering the supply chain. Not even spreading. We're talking about something that creeps into, yes, moves slowly. Something that is gradually, slowly entering into a system. Right? Where they are referring inefficiency entering into the supply chain system. That's not what the context is focusing on. Third, as a result, everyone treats other as an adversary rather than an ally. That we don't know. Right? We understand that, yes, boss, their feelings of mistrust are maximized. Everybody is trying to hold their own positions. Everybody is looking for, to take advantage of the situation. But we don't know, this is too strong. Or, I can't fall back and say everyone is treating each other as an enemy rather than an ally. In a business world, right, the dynamics are completely different. Yeah. So, and in fact, it's too general a statement. Yeah. Is that what I should conclude based on the context of the passage? I don't know. I'll have to look at my other two options. I'm going to keep option 3 as a parking lot. Okay. I know 2 of you have come back and said option 3 is the answer. Option 4. As a result, fundamental innovations are becoming scarce in automobile industry. Huh? Completely irrelevant. Right? Innovations are not even mentioned in the context. Out. I can close my eyes and eliminate option 4. Out. Okay. What I've eliminated is 1, 2 and 4, boss. It has no bearing. It is misleading, it is deviating, or it is out of context. 5. As a result, everyone loses in the long run. I'm assuming this is a typo error here, not losses, loses. Okay, in the context it says everyone treats other as an adversary rather than an ally. You're asking what is the meaning of ally. Your clue phrase is right there in the context. Adversary, I'm assuming you know what adversary is. What is an adversary? If adversary is somebody, see the context, as everyone treats other as an adversary, the context is basically saying that, hey, I'm not for what you're doing, right? It's not even saying I'm for or against, it's just saying, hey, I want to take advantage of the situation that I am in, I'm maximizing that opportunity, right? So if adversary is an enemy, rather is an antonym hint word. So what can ally mean? It has to mean friend, mal, correct, right? I want you guys to use context clues and figure out the meaning, boss. Everyone treats other as an adversary rather than an ally. So you have adversary who's not a person who is supporting you or helping you, who's a friend, who's not a friend, rather than an ally. So ally means alliance, right? Somebody whom you form relationships with, a partner, a supporter, a friend. So where were we? So 3rd I've kept in the parking lot. 5th, as a result, everyone loses in the long run. For me, I would lean more towards option 5, simply because it addresses everyone who is the factory, the dealer and the consumer. Great. And obviously, if they continue in this manner, only focusing on, maximizing their bargaining positions, withholding information, how will the system move on? How will the system progress? How will the deal making, the deals or the how will there be transparency between their process, right? So obviously, in the long run, if they continue in this manner, it's not going to be favorable. It's not going to be advantageous. I would say option 5. As a result, everyone loses in the long run, even as compared to 3. Because at least 5 is directly responding, and if you look at it, just before the last line, right, even before the dealer about the product, let me put the context. It says, this becomes a system marked by a long-term commitment on either side which maximize feelings of mistrust. In order to maximize their bargaining positions, everyone holds back information. As a result, everyone loses in the long run. That's it. Okay, because everyone holds back information, everyone loses in the long run. Yeah, that's the most logical thing to conclude, I would say, because 3 is a little ambiguous for me. I can, what do I say, come up with that, right? But it's not a very effective closure. At least 5 is directly related to the context. Yeah, it is a direct consequence, don't you think, of holding back information? Everyone holds back information, everyone loses in the process, boss. The dealer about the product, consumer about his true desire, yeah, and the relationship even between the dealer and the factory. Clear? Any questions, any doubts? So the answer to that is option 5. Okay, so the idea is, so how did we eliminate wrong answer options? Very, very critical, right? For a passage like this, I need to understand what the crux of the passage is, what the context is, before I jump to a conclusion. 3 is also saying same as in 5? No. 3 is more of an opinion that you have, right? 3 is more of an opinion that you have. You're saying, hey, because of all this, they're not looking at each other as a as a friend, as a supporter, but as an ally. This is an opinion based on information that you're coming with. But 5 is a direct consequence of what happens when people hold back information. Right? So 3 is only a subset of what you think is happening. What you think is happening may not be the right conclusion for the passage, right? But the direct consequence of somebody holding information is that they're going to lose out in the long run. That is a more effective logical conclusion.